Hi, I'm Simon with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to show you how to repair your appliance. Are you ready? Remember, anytime you work on your appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also, be sure to turn off the water to your dishwasher. In this video, we'll show you how to replace the circulation motor and heater assembly in a Bosch dishwasher. It's going to be a very easy repair. Should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. For this job, we're going to need a 5/8 of an inch open-ended wrench, 5/16 inch nut driver, Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, small flathead screwdriver, Torx 20 screwdriver, and a pair of needlenose pliers. When you open up the package, you're going to get a new circulation motor and a heater assembly and the clamp. The circulation motor and heater assembly is mounted at the bottom of the sump. It circulates water throughout the dishwasher and heats it up when energized by the control board. The main reasons for the circulation motor and heater assembly to be replaced is if the motor burns out, or the impeller breaks, or the heater burns out, or the motor housing cracks, causing a leak. So we're going to open the door, and we're going to remove the lower dish rack first, and then we're going to pull out and remove the upper dish rack. And pull it all the way out, and then I'm going to lift it up to disengage the rollers here on the side, the rails, and we can remove it. Now next I'm going to take out the two Phillips screws that holds the dishwasher to the countertop. Put the towel in the plastic container under the shutter valve just in case of the water will leak down. And then using the 5/8 open-ended wrench, take off the water line. Then using the 5/16 inch nut driver, loosen up the hose clamp and remove the drain hose from the air gap. Be careful, there is still some water inside the hose. Use a container or the towel. Our next step would be taking the 3 Torx 20 screws out at the bottom here, and that's going to free the door handle from the panel. I'm going to use the Torx 20 screwdriver and remove that screws. And now I can open the door and take out the screws that holds the inner door to the outer door panel. We're going to take out the 4 screws on the top. This is a Torx 20 screwdriver. And remove it one by one. And now we're going to move to the side and take out this screws. These side screws are a little bit shorter than the screws from the top. And I'm going to close the door and I'm going to slide down the outer panel with the touchpad here. So I'm going to pull up and remove this touchpad with the control board and just let it hang down slowly. Make sure you don't break anything, any like harness. And we can remove this outer door panel. So I can open the door, and we're going to attach this control panel to the door for the time being, so we would not damage it accidentally. I'm going to use this. I only put 4 out of 6 screws in. We don't need all 6. That's our famous Torx 20 screws. And another one over here. And next to it. And one in this corner. We're going to take out the access panel. There's two Phillips screws, one on each corner. I'm going to use the Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to take out the screws so we can remove the access panel. It's self-removable. Decide to come off by itself. And next we're going to take this frame support out. It's going to be Torx 20 screwdriver. I have a couple of screws that holds that frame support. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver and carefully pry this off. Fold it in a second. And now we can remove the insulation. Now we can remove the dishwasher from under the counter. I'm going to open the door and turn it side to side and slowly pull it out. Don't tear the door off the hinges. Then I'm going to hold it from the top and pull it out. And now we're going to turn it sidewise so we can get to the back of the dishwasher to remove the screws. So using a Torx 20 screwdriver, I'm going to remove a couple of screws that holds the base to the cabinet of the dishwasher. I'm going to turn the dishwasher so I will have access to both sides. So we're going to open the door slightly, and using needlenose pliers, I'm going to remove the door cable from the door hinge and drop it down. Then I'm going to take out the cable guide. First we're going to open it to the left, then slide it over that pin. So I'm going to repeat the procedure on the opposite side. I open the door and using needlenose pliers and pull the cable over the hinge and from the guide. Then I'm going to slide the guide to the right and pull it over the post here. I'm going to open the door, slowly let it down because it's not supported by the springs. Then we're going to use needlenose pliers to unscrew this cover nut. We turn it counterclockwise, slowly, do not force it. So that will free the water inlet housing. Close the door now. So at this point I'm going to pull out the dishwasher away from the counter and I'm going to place it on its back. Make sure it's not laying on the drain hose. Actually, I'm going to pull a little more so it clears the counter completely. Alright. So to continue separation the base from the cabinet, we need to press down on this locking tab. The flathead screwdriver goes in, and we're going to press on the tab. Don't go too hard on it, I'm going to break it. So, and slide the base off. So we're going to do the same thing on this opposite side. We're going to use the flathead screwdriver. We're going to press in on this tab and pull on the base. So I'm going to use a small flathead screwdriver and I'm going to pry open that clamp here so we can remove the float switch out of the way. In order to remove this drain tube, I'm going to use the small flathead screwdriver and I'm going to pry off the tube from that clamp. Now we're going to pull out the sump to the water inlet housing hose from the sump. And again, just put it aside. we need to remove this plug from the water inlet valve. I'm going to press that lucky tab inside and pull the plug out. So the last thing before we separate the base completely, we're going to remove this harness from the clip and put it over so it won't be on the way. Now we can swing the base away from the dishwasher and put it aside so it can work on the sump and on the motor. Next, we need to remove these 3 plugs. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to press down on that locking tab and slide the plug out. Then the small plug, and I use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to put it in there here and under the wires and pry it out. Then the big plug, there's a tap here on the side. I'm going to press it in and pull the plug out. Next, we need to open this clamp. I'm using a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to bend it open here and remove it from the hook. So now we're going to go on the top and disconnect the grommet. So using the flathead screwdriver, we're going to pry this grommet off. Pull in the circulation motor and heater assembly, and using the flathead screwdriver, remove that from the sump. Then we can pull it out. This is the old circulation motor and heater assembly next to the new one. If you don't have this part, you can get it from appliancepartspros.com. We're going to start with installing the hose clamp on this yellow connector and turn it so the screw would be approximately around 11 o'clock. We're going to install this port into this yellow connector first, and then we're going to slide the green sleeve over this port. Push it all the way in. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver and tighten that hose clamp. And now we're going to install this rubber grommet onto the post. Now we're going to connect the plugs. The large one in goes first. Press it in. Then the small one next to it. Push in. And then the black one. Slide it this way. So we're going to pick up the insulation and place it onto the base. The cutout goes around the water inlet valve. And now we can swing it back in. And so this bracket goes inside the cutouts. And now we can connect that plug back into the water inlet valve. Push it in. It should lock in. Then we're going to place the harness over and put it into this retainer. It's time to install the sump to the water inlet housing hose back in. I'm going to put it into this port and push it in as far as it can go. And now we're going to install the drain tube back on. I'm going to slide it onto this drain container and clamp it on.
And now push the base to snap it on the frame.
Right, now it's locked. Then we can make sure that everything is connected back here. And now we're going to clamp on this float switch. Now I'm going to lift top of the dishwasher, putting it upright. And move it closer to the counter. Open the door again, let it down slowly. And now we can install this cover nut. And turn it clockwise to tighten it. First manually, and then a little bit tighter using the needle nose pliers. Don't force it. That would be plenty. And we can close the door. We can install the cable guide on the pin here and lock it in. I'm going to put the cable onto the guide and grab it with the needle nose pliers. Pull it up and then install it on the hinge. So we're now going to install the cables back on the hinge. I'm going to start with putting the cable guide, slide it on the post, and then turn it to the left here to lock it on. Then place the cable on that guide. I'm going to grab it with needle nose pliers, stretch it, and place it on the hinge. You can open the door, see if we put everything back correctly. Yep, it works. Now we can turn the dishwasher to the side so we can install the screw to the back. So we can attach the base to the cabinet with 2 Torx 20 screws. I'm using a Torx 20 screwdriver. All right. Now I can turn the dishwasher and install it under the counter. Let's open the door. And we're going to pull out the rails and put the upper rack on the rails. And then the lower rack goes in. Put the screws back in and secure the dishwasher to the countertop. I use the Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to remove that 4 Torx 20 screws that holds the control panel. Lower down the control panel and close the door. Be careful not to break the wires. Okay, we're going to put the insulation back in. The bottom first. Now the schematic goes back in, and the frame support following that goes in this way. And first we're going to put the top on, press it in, and then we're going to lift it up and install that 2 bottom clips on. And secure it with the 2 Torx 20 screws. And now we're going to install the access panel. And now we're going to put this Phillips screw in. And I use a Phillips screwdriver. So we're going to pick up the control panel. Be aware of the wiring. So bring it up. And then on angle, like this, we have to go in. So this plastic goes into the door. And then these tabs on the top will go inside the cutouts in the outer door panel. All right. To install the outer door panel, we need to lift it off and put the inside strip on the top of the hinges. And then reach in and open the door. Support it on the sides. And put your knee under. So I'm going to put one screw to hold the doors together. And a Torx 20 screwdriver. Tighten it. And another one, I guess, would be better. We're going to put the bottom one too. And the one more at the bottom. Please note that these 3 screws on each side are the short screws. The top one here and the 4 on the top are longer screws. It's the last short screw on this side. And we're going to install the longer ones. And the last short screw goes on this side. And I can put the first long screw. And next 4 top screws. So we're going to close the door. So we're going to install the 3 sharp-ended screws from the bottom. We're going to use the Torx 20 screwdriver. And there's one there, right in there. Let's manually thread on the water line onto the shadow valve, then tighten using 5/8 open-ended wrench, and then we can take out the towel and the container. Connect the drain hose to the air gap and tighten the clamp with the 5/16" nut driver. Turn the water on, plug the dishwasher in, and run it to check for leaks. Hopefully there is none. Thank you for being a part of another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. For any of your future appliance repair projects, please check out our other videos available on our site, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram.